name is Bernt. I work mainly with front end and QA, and plan sort of some of the features that Guttorm and Thomas and the other guys comes to me. So what I aim to do today is just show a few things in CView. I'm going to do a little presentation of dashboards, copying, some new things in state widgets, GPS widgets, and stack charts. Guttorm, in a couple of presentations ago, also mentioned the new grids we have, event summaries, service, and monitors. I'll show a little bit about what they can do. And then we'll, if time allows, we'll look a little bit at time settings in monitors and agent memory, but we'll see what we have time for. So some of the things I will present is present in 2.17. Some of them are ancient, but I'll just show them anyway. So there's no sort of correspondence to this is just new stuff. It might be older version that also have them. All right. So first in line, I want to show you a little bit about copying and some features we have added to the state widgets. So here I have 4 state widgets. You might know you can select multiple and click copy, and you could go to, I moved stuff. You could go to another dashboard and you can paste them in. Of course, they will contain the same data source that they had. There are no changes. It's just a one-to-one copy. And also what we can do is that we can manipulate, when multiple are selected, the size of them. So let's decrease the size a little bit here. All of them decreased in size. Also, we could manipulate the background to fit our needs. So the one issue with this is that not all widgets support this. What we will do is that we will show you in the upcoming release if this is an available feature or not. So we'll have some inkling about does it work or not. So that's a little bit problematic. The goal is also to do this for our grid widgets in upcoming release. And that way you can sort of form the dashboards to fit your color theme. All right. So while I'm looking at the state widgets, I'll just clear this out. We also have done some features to the state widgets themselves. So if I look at this one, I now have the option, in addition to filtering on tags, we have the option to filter on different event types, because events contains a lot of different types. Monitor errors, asset health reason, these come from the monitors. Service, there is a mixture. Everything happening in the system are presented here and contain a type. So what is nice is that you can go to the dashboard and you can say, for this one, I'm only going to show asset health reason, meaning monitor data. The count is updated. And I see right away that I only get the asset health reason filtered when I go to the event summary grid on redirect. So that's quite a nice feature. Also, in addition, we have added a feature that lets you show or hide content. So in this case, I added the labels for the buckets and I added the bar underneath. Like this one, I want to present it small. I don't want to have this additional information, doesn't provide me anything, then you can turn it off. Also in this widget, we have the ability to scale it, and it should look nice in almost all resolutions. Almost all resolutions. So that's quite a nice feature. In addition, we have the option to redirect to the given entity. We also have the option to configure this widget to open the events in a pop-up. So that's configurable within this action here, display settings. Open events in pop-up will bring up a grid when you click one of the buckets. So that's about it for the state widgets. Also, as you can see, one last thing is that you can control what severities you want to display. Depending on the widget, you can have, for service, you can have up, down, warning, inactive. For event states, we have these severities. You can turn on, off the buckets that you would like to present. All right, so that's it for state widgets. I'll make a little jump to the GPS widget now. So the GPS widget, how it was originally made was that inside the widget, you selected an asset that had a GPS coordinate set. So for instance, this one, and the shape was shown. You had no control over the shape, how it looked, how big it was. But now we have added two things, and that is actually the option to go into the asset and set the GPS coordinate in a map. I'll show you that. So I can click this asset. I have a click to set geotag in the asset details. It brings up a map for me, and I can see the location. So I'm sitting here. This is a climbing center that I awaken from time to time. I'll move it up here. Yeah, I should have a breadcrumb beneath here, so that's a little bit cumbersome. And now for this asset that we can see, I have configured. I've set this asset as the data source. When I drag it onto, I get a pop-up, and it asks me where I want to position it. And it's just positioned accordingly to where I climb. In addition, we also have the option to tie an asset's GPS location into a service. So I also have a service shape here. Let me just show you. I'll go into the service model. And for the root node, I now have an option to set the asset for the GPS. This dropdown provides me all the assets within the account that has a GPS set. It's not directly tied into the qualifier or whatnot. Any asset with GPS can be used here. And you can set it for the root node, or you can set it for an element. So once that is set, we can take the service shape and use it in the GPS widget. So I have the shape here, and this shows the service state. This service is down. Once I drag it onto and click OK, it's positioned. And this is correctly positioned because this is position where I sit today. So that's the new things we have with the GPS widget. Next in line, I'll show you one last thing in dashboards. It's the stacked chart. And this can also be used in the common graphs. So this is a stack. It contains a lot of metrics. And as you can see, I have some color coding to it. Even added a new unit. We can do that. Scroll bar ahoy, but that's life. We have the option where we have the selected metric. If you click advanced, to say, this graph, I want to be, let's say, red. And unit should be red. It's red, and the unit is also represented as red. Also in this menu here, we have an option to convert. On click, you get up this conversion formula where you could do different calculation on the unit that comes in. So you could double it or divide it, do whatever you like. You can also show the amount of decimals you would like to present. So this option here is present in all our metrics right now. It's very much hidden, thus I show it today. Hopefully in an upcoming release, we will tweak a little bit this editor so it will become a little bit more user-friendly, and it will be presented in a little bit more intuitive way. All right. New grids. Guttorm mentioned a little bit about event summary. And we have moved this to the React framework. We have built the React component more or less from scratch to fit our needs, because grids are problematic when they come from a given framework. They need a lot of customization, at least for us. So this one will hopefully give us a lot of options and be more user-friendly and optimized than the previous one. Currently, we have it in events, service, and monitors. What I would like to show you today is the filter options. So with sort of the filter and the view options, we now have a lot of different options. We can freeze columns. Previously, we only had that in asset. We froze, hard-coded a couple of columns in asset. Now you can configure what you like to be frozen. As you see, it's frozen. And you can also freeze content on the right-hand side. And it will stick. So that way it lets you configure a little bit better how to present your data and keep track of what's important for you. In addition, we have added a rule set to build filters. So you don't necessarily have to go into each column, go into the dropdowns and select. You can build them from scratch. Like here, I can add a rule. I write the column name, which is severity, and I select critical and majors. Majors and criticals. That's very nice. And you can add additional rules to this. Also, we can tweak the sorting. So you don't have to keep track of all the numbers that are around and you might not see them. You can simply grab one and release it. And it will be sorted in that order. So that's a nice feature. And hopefully we will start to roll this out to the other grids in the upcoming releases. All right. Next in line, I can show a little bit enhancement we have done for, I think Guttorm mentioned it with the agent memory. So if I go to my agent, I now have the option to configure the memory that we set via the GUI. You don't have to go into the config file on the given agent to adjust max and the mean memory. You can do it from the GUI. Of course, it requires a restart once it's done to become present. You can also do it from the grid on bulk. In that context, we don't show what was actually set on the agent because we don't do that test because the different agents can have different memory setting. So that's a nice little helpful feature. Okay, last item for me was actually just to show you our contextual online menu. We've had this for the qualifiers and for monitors. Now it sits up here. Carsten probably showed this. And what it does is that it gives you a context of where you clicked, in this case, home, and it redirects you there. If you go back to the app and click again, it will open up in the same tab, the new location. All right, that's it for me. Thank you.